doesn't matter. With all those guys, we weren't winning the Super Bowl last year. So I don't know why any Eagle fan would try and compare. We're not saying, at least I'm not saying, that Dallas was going anywhere last year. But what I did say was,
me, because it was open. Camera online. Yeah. No. What up, dude? What it do? What's good? What's good, everybody? Gabe, Wyatt, Bird. What is up? In the weekly conference. In the weekly conference for the NFC. So that's what you guys are hearing.
We still aren't going to do
Y'all hear the audio just fine? What up, Raymond?
We do need to back up, Mark. It's far too long that we're relying
I'll let
on
them know I'm
shit.
in here now.
Listen, Wade, I'm sure you've already talked to Mark about hamstring off the bone. Dak is not long for the league based on what's going on.
You need to get the offensive line together.
Yes,
and we're going with the third defensive coordinator in 3 years.
We need to invest in a quality backup. Me and you in prime time and Wade, we were at the game last year. Did you see Cooper Rush against the Eagles? He was atrocious. And your backup needs to be able to be ready at a moment's notice and give you a decent day.
You have to be mobile, too. You have to have a mobile quarterback. And Dak Prescott is a statue back there now off his injuries. He's not able to.
I would argue that Momo, again, I don't say he's – I think he can move around. I do, but that's just me.
There were times when Lamar got hurt and RG3 came in.
Right.
You never know. Injuries can happen at any time, Gabe. It's hard to tell. But, yeah, he is a Baltimore Raven. I put out a video about that already.
How long has it been?
What it do, what it do.
I think the last good one we had was, what's his name?
John Kitna?
Andy Dalton.
Yes, Andy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling you now, Leo. She just said.
Andy Dalton was not that good for us.
No, I don't think he was any better than John Kitna.
I'm sorry, Andy Dalton did not do jack for us. Okay, remember, Washington won the division at 7-8. Yeah, I'm sorry, 7-9. Yeah, I mean, Andy Dalton was not good either. Dak got hurt again too, didn't he?
What it do, Dylan? What's good? What's good?
Okay, you broke this.
I wasn't too surprised, but yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Season-ending injury since he's been with the Cowboys twice. That's not good. Yeah, one is not good.
I will say this, the type of injury he had, like we keep hearing, well, Tyron came back. Tyron came back, and listen, I hope he comes back, because if he doesn't come back, it's going to be a miserable couple years until we find somebody.
No, I don't have any faith in him, but we'll have to see. It's hard to tell how it works out.
Hopefully he can come back and put it behind him. But we see it, Tyron Smith came back the same year. It's a little different when you're planting and that's your leg that you're throwing off of. And you just hope that he can.
I disagree with that one, bro.
I'm not saying he's not going to be able to come back. I said that.
When you're trying to drop the anchor there, you're putting a hell of a lot more stress.
I agree with you.
When you got a 100-pound guy hitting and engaging you. That's called taking a shot before the game starts, Mark. You know they do that. Okay. Taking a shot and having.
Let's just hope and pray that he can come back and give us. What's he got? 3 years left. Let's hope he has 3 years left.
He can probably get re-signed. So Andy Dalton,
dude, you're killing me already.
Here's 4-5 for us in 2020. 14 TDs, 8 interceptions, 2,170 yards, and an 81 rating. So it wasn't exactly like he was going to take us to a Super Bowl.
No, we've yet to have a really solid, good backup.
So the question is, Jameis Winston. Who are you talking about that's going to be going back up?
I think they're going to draft him. I don't think we're going to get one in free agency.
No, we're definitely drafting one. But to me,
I think he's going to be the backup.
I think you're deficient in that.
100%. Definitely are.
I would go out and get what's his name, Locke, either Drew Locke or somebody like that, and then go ahead and get him. I would get rid of. I would get rid of who we got now. What's his name? Mark.
Again, we're just talking about
Will Gear.
Right. Exactly.
You're talking about Will Gear.
Not actual replacement.
No. Let's be honest. We're all talking ifs and buts, but if we lose that, we're most likely done anyway. It doesn't really matter, but it kind of would. In my mind, I was thinking, well, okay. I'm glad we're going young with somebody. Eddie B. Wow. Shout out to Eddie B.
Wait, no, Eddie. No. Jason Garrett's not going to be the backup.
Sincerely yours, Jason Garrett.
I honestly wish that they had played Trey Lance more than Cooper Rush when Dak went down, just so that we could have really got to see, because he's really not had any playing time.
He can't throw. He can run, but he couldn't throw. That was Trey Lance.
But I'll take a dink and dunk and a runner. That was Dak his first 3 years.
You just want more body of work to be able to make a complete assessment.
I would like.
I don't think he played one game, got hurt his second game, and that first game was a pour down rain. They were sliding in the rain against the Bears when the 49ers played them. And then he got hurt, and he played preseason, didn't do good, and came in at the end of games. We have really never been able to assess Trey Lance at all.
He's a veteran guy.
It's reality, though. Look at what he did with Cleveland.
They don't want somebody that good.
If he's throwing to Paris Campbell or Donovan Mingo, it doesn't matter if it's Dak or anybody else. And if we don't have somebody better than Miles Sanders running the football, you can put Joe Montana out there. And then
Marcus Blackman.
How got to get better weapons out here than what we have than just CD.
I think that's going to be our first round draft pick. I think it's going to be a top wide receiver that will be our number 2, and then these other ones are battling for our 3rd spot. Well, whether it's Tech or Buka, I'm happy either way. Buka can block, though. Buka's more rounded.
I say this. Y'all should get Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers make Dak to be on his toes.
Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh, I heard.
He needs to go to his couch.
Scary, everybody.
Aaron Rodgers needs to go to his couch.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers needs to retire.
We did some mock drafts last night as I was
Stealing money
live stream.
Yep.
And
100%.
Eagles have a better job doing the mock than we did, and they're at 32.
Okay.
If we don't get a wide receiver at 12, we ain't getting a good one.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, they'll be gone.
I was picking at 32 for the Eagles. I'm like, oh shit.
So it's the back.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be at 32. Honestly, I mean, after the 12th pick, it's all the same.
I don't know. Wooden's outside, so I don't care.
We were like when you were picking for us, right?
I mean, I know it was tough. I was tired. I was at 2.
Yeah. But you were like when it came like the difference between the way you were picking for Philadelphia versus the way you were picking for Dallas was Philly was best player available.
Yeah.
Dallas was position of need.
Who is it?
Exactly. Bingo.
Well, I mean, that's up to you. You want to get dressed and go outside and play with him, then get dressed and go outside and play with him.
Free agent quarterbacks. I'm going to name the quarterbacks.
You got to get dressed, though.
Good for the Cowboys. Game time. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Joe Flacco, Thompson Reese, Cooper, or Eastside, Desmond Riddler, Trey Lance,
Case Keenum,
Easton Stick, Josh Johnson, C.J. Beathard, Teddy Bridgewater.
I'll take Teddy B.
I was gonna say Teddy Bridgewater's not bad.
Yeah. I heard they're talking.
I'd definitely take Teddy B.
Sam Ellinger. I already heard that they're talking to him.
Mike White, Tim Moore.
Mike White's an ex-Cowboy. We're the one that found him, even though he had a couple of years.
Tyler Huntley.
None of these guys. Who they should go?
Eyebrows.
Didn't Mike White have a decent year or decent few games with the Jets?
What is the all-knowing thing? Because I had no clue with this team.
You're not going to sign Russell Wilson. Not going to sign. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't Carson Wentz?
Yeah, Gabe, but at the same time, they're both crash outs.
Yeah.
So at the same time, they can easily cost you more yards with penalties than they can get you. So, I mean, it depends on their mood for the day. If they're in a good enough mood where they want to play football and not start fights, then they can be very dangerous. You're right. But if they're in any type of crash out mood like they normally are, they can cost you a lot of yards.
They wouldn't sign Rico. Rico actually
Might have been the best one.
Yeah, they should. I think they made that mistake.
Rico brought Miles Sanders in.
Yeah, they made the mistake with that.
Wasn't that a downgrade?
That was a downgrade.
I think what happened with the
6 yards of carry behind our shitty line.
What about Dobbins? JK. He's a good running back.
Our starting running back.
Dobbins. I like Dobbins.
Sanders is
Dobbins is injury prone, but Dobbins is a damn good running back.
Rico oversold himself. He thought he was going to have a higher market, and then the Cowboys offered him low. And
I know that's your boy. I know
He's just injury prone. That's the problem.
Nick Chubb got re-signed.
He got re-signed. What about
I might be wrong, but I thought
Jamal Williams? I know he got his little issues, but
I know Kareem Hunt went to the Kansas City Chiefs. I do know that.
I believe the Cowboys are going to draft.
what's good, Shroom? What's good? We over here in the weekly NFC conference.
exactly.
Miles Sanders will probably be gone.
that's what I told him.
If y'all want to see the other half of the video on this, it's on Mark Holmes' channel. I'm live streaming on his channel and on our channel here. All right, love you. Bye. Be careful.
I don't know why anybody's, having a hissy fit about us signing all these running backs. I said at least one or maybe two of these running backs, it's not going to be on the
No, they may not keep either of them. They're both 1-year deals, so they may not keep either of them. Their bodies to compete.
We signed Cook, and how many times did we see him? One game, and that was it.
He had the game that they sat Rico and put Zeke with Cook instead of Rico.
Didn't Gallup sign with somebody?
No, he wants to come back.
He wants to come out of retirement.
It is not just unretirement.
But the Raiders still own his rights.
Here we go. I didn't see this earlier. So Micah Parsons is back in the States and hosted his first Lions Den youth football camp of the offseason, giving back to the community.
Because you already ate a slice of pizza. You can eat something else. Micah, you need to go inside, baby. When you're older, you'll be able to go out there and play without Daddy, but you need me to be out there.
So everybody talking about how he's selfish and and he's not a team.
Doesn't coach you do every player.
Okay, his podcast, his community. His podcast is literally an hour. Okay,
I don't care.
Y'all hear the audio okay? Y'all hear that audio just fine? Let me know if you can.
I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Yeah,
sunglasses. Because these are the same people that
the end season podcast, I would question that because it's kind of weird because he loses on a Sunday and then Mark Wentz's podcast, whenever it is,
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Well, he's predicting and talking about the up. I have a little bit of issue with that, but at the end of the day,
now I think Mark and any Cowboys fans should have a problem when he had Slay on his podcast.
I didn't care.
Cowboy fan,
I think they're friends.
It just don't matter.
Yeah, they were friends before.
Momo, me and you would love to believe that, but just watch the end of the game. Like everybody's
I hate it.
They all sit there, jersey,
all these other kids.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
To your point, I agree 100% because when he had big play Slay on was after we got mollywopped by either Detroit or Baltimore, and he didn't play in that game. And they're yucking it up and laughing and all that. But I think there was a change, at least in my mind, because I looked at it, I say, before injury, when he was playing, and it was his, everything went right for him. He had the
I would
add years of being,
either Chase
everything going right.
or Lamb.
At the beginning of that season, he had that one sack in the first 4 games. He was doing his podcast, he's been yucking it up.
Or add Knox as a tight end.
If you looked at his podcast after he came back, there was no more like the, big play Slay and guys like that and stuff. The tone had changed completely where it was more not about laughing at the Cowboys and everything else, and doing ratings on the quarterback and everything else. He was more of just doing a podcast.
Who's Jay Graham? Because he up there talking smack. I don't want to go. I don't know who he is.
I don't know. Hey, Brown.
Jay Graham. Y'all let this old fucker tell y'all anything, and Mark runs with it. I don't know who you're referring to.
I'm not that old, am I?
Listen,
I think so, Randy. Yeah.
Eagle fan. The Buddy Ryan response right there.
Yeah, I'm not choking on a pork chop. I'm good.
Yeah, me too. I ain't just choked on the steak I cook earlier on the grill, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Oh, that shut the room down. It sure did. Like, you notice how everybody like that silence there. You heard that?
No, we're reading some of the comments here, man. I ate so much stuff over the last week. And everybody kept bringing, like, chicken and stuff like that. I got back, the refrigerator was like, chicken was just falling out of it. Like, my nephew last night was like, I want some buffalo wing. I said, if I ever see another chicken, don't start. I don't want to see no chicken.
Yeah, that's like my least favorite meat.
I'm tired of chicken. I'm just tired of chicken.
So game time. What do you grade Dallas's free agency activity at this point? What grade would you give it?
I'm the opposite end of the spectrum than Loyal. I'm giving him a B. Again, they haven't brought in but maybe 2 starters, but again, free agency normally, unless you're a team like the Eagles last year where you needed that running back, then that's like the cherry on top. Normally free agency, and I warned Momo about this, it should be
that way.
Should be to fill holes, okay? You need to fill holes going into the draft. I remind Loyal and everybody else, we did 0 moves between the end of the season, 1 move between the end of the season and the draft, and then we filled in after the draft. We lost the same amount of players last year. I get it. We didn't lose Zach Martin to retirement or a D-Law.
We actually lost more last year.
We lost more bodies last year. We replaced none.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into every player, Leo, because it would take a while. But basically, we got a couple starters. We got Osa on a really good team-friendly deal. And we are sitting way better now than this time than we were last year.
I think we're a better team right now than we were last year.
Draft good, Leo. If we draft the way we've been drafting and getting 1 really good player out of the draft, that's not good enough anymore. You need to hit on round 1, round 2, round 3. If we hit on our first round, second round, third round this year, then we're going to be right there in the mix to be able to compete. If we draft Mozzie Smiths, if we draft
Makers,
Spoon Liquor, or we draft Taco Charlton, well, then it's a wrap. Like, I'm hearing whispers of Michael Williams at 12, and I would think that that's a big time reach, and that could be a problem. So anyway, go ahead, Momo. I was already saying you because Washington is doing a lot in free agency. They're actually getting killed on ESPN and other.
Of course. So
but what I'm saying is, Momo, is you need to draft good. The reason why the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I mean, I just want to fill you in. Not you, but everybody. The reason why Eagles won the Super Bowl wasn't because of any one person. It's because they've drafted unballivably the last couple of years.
They got two phenomenal starters on defense last year in the draft.
We've locked our core group of guys up early.
Yeah, but you drafted great.
Mitchell and Dejon, whatever his name is, Cooper DeJean.
Everything they did turned to gold recently. You got to give them credit for it. You cannot just sign free agents and have any sort of lasting success. You can't.
I agree. But here's my thing about free agencies and like that. I agree that I was one who said, hold the horses, Cowboys. Y'all guys got to realize free agency is not day one. It's not day two. It's already till the draft, and sometimes after the draft.
Yeah. And again, I wouldn't be surprised, and Leo asked the question, so I'm going to go there. I wouldn't be surprised if they had something under the table in place. Mark brought it up on one of his.
$41 billion still sitting here.
Mark, don't be surprised if they haven't reached out to a Diggs.
I think there's. Go ahead, sorry.
I thought hey, listen. After the draft, Mark, whatever that date is, May, whatever, when you can pick up guys. Diggs ain't gonna come for $7 million. He gonna want probably $10 million. You know what I'm saying? But if you can sign somebody at a certain point and not lose your comp picks, correct. So maybe they have something like that in line. Now people are gonna say, well, Diggs, he's coming back from ACL. We're still drafting 1 at 12, people. You just need to go into the draft, not necessarily having to do anything, but I would think you would get 1 at 12.
So wait a minute, you think 12 is going to be a wide receiver?
I do, yes, I do. The more I think about it, I do.
Okay, here's the thing I want to ask you, Game Time.
That's going to be
and all Cowboys fans.
It goes quick.
Do you think the Cowboys should give away their number 1, number 2 for the number 1 pick?
No.
That wouldn't get it done anyway.
I think we should use later. I think if that's the case, we use later comp picks to move up into the 4th.
The Giants just came out and said they're not going to trade to the number 1 because they're asking too much. They want multiple ones for the Giants to go up from 3 to 1. It's going to cost us.
I don't think there's a player in this draft that's worth giving that equity for.
Don't be like Washington did with that dumbass thing.
Think about that, people. Giants were in the number 1 spot, and they had to win a meaningless game towards the end of the season, and dropped to 5. I think they're lucky they're at 3.
Here's where next year, in that point about not signing in kind, D-Law signing that contract $15 million a year for 3 years. Jordan Lewis's contract is another $30 million.
No, I wouldn't do Travis Kelce. I would do Kittle or Knox. There's another one that was a rookie last year. He did really good. I just can't think of his name.
With those two. So, Cowboys being the cheapskates they are, they don't want to make a big signing in kind because they're going to lose out on those.
Right. That's why I said maybe they have something in place for the guy that's not in a rush to sign a deal like a Diggs and say, listen, we'll come back to you after the draft, after a certain date, but we're interested in you. That's very possible.
I think
why would Diggs want to sign anywhere right now? You wait till after the draft. But some of these running backs like Miles Sanders, I think he was foolish to even think of coming to Dallas now. Because after the draft, when if somebody gets squeezed out like Dallas, I fear that Dallas is going to wait too long to get a running back, and then they're not going to get a running back that they need, a guy who could be on the field longer than just first and second down, and then they're going to be like getting just anybody. So if I was a bottom dweller, I would have waited.
I got you, Gabe. Sorry, brother.
Just picked my spot for playing time. Because if Dallas gets a first-round running back, if Genty slides, which I don't foresee, but let's just say it doesn't matter if it's first. if Dallas picks one up in the second round. He's the starter. Whoever that person is the starter, and Miles Sanders is probably not making a team. So
the problem I see with that
is that for the most part, we haven't addressed run stopping.
Not yet. We have not.
That's where I'm call me a broken record, but I would definitely do a flyer on Calais Campbell. $2 million is what he signed for. By who? Calais Campbell.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got excited. Somebody in my chat last night said, we got Campbell. I'm like, all right. Then they said Paris Campbell, and I'm just, fuck. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I said, Mark's got his guy. Yes, finally. And then,
but even at 38 last year as a part-time role, 58 tackles, 6 sacks. As a role player, he could play anywhere on the line from edge to nose. And it's like, he didn't notice what he did last year. So,
are you guys a better team at this time this year than you were at this time last year?
If our players come back healthy, yes.
I think I would say yes.
Well, think about it, Leo. We didn't sign him yet, but we went into
talking before the injuries.
We went into the season with Zeke Elliott as a starting running back. Just remember, Rico Dowdle didn't come in until week 8. Yeah. He didn't even get a snap until week 8.
Right.
So we were going in. So if we go out and get, let's just say we get the Henderson, whoever, it doesn't matter. Let's say we get the Henderson out of Ohio State, or we get the Caleb Johnson, or whatever, Marion Hampton. Okay, we're better at running back. Again, Brandon Cooks. I think he's cooked. I think his last name. We haven't lost anybody from the wide receivers, right? We're going to be more healthy with our defense because we're actually going to be able to start the year with Deron Bland. I get it. We're not going to have Trayvon Diggs on the outside necessarily. But we went out and got Kenneth Murray, who was the captain of the defense in Tennessee. He's not an all-pro. He's not a Pro Bowler. He's just a solid downhill starting linebacker who was the captain of the defense last year. We went out and got the linebacker in Chicago, and again, it was a minimal deal, but the fan base is out of their minds. The fact that he left there and that we got him. Remember, Eberflus is the one who found this kid. He's a Jack Del Rio type linebacker. That's what he is. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. So I think we're out of the gate. We're better. Everybody's busting on us.
Go look for it.
That we had 2 rookies starting offensive line.
Yes, and that's another thing.
Cooper.
What does that mean, Leo? I don't know. It don't mean much until we actually get on the field and play. You know what I mean? But I think we're in a better spot. Talk to me after the draft, and then I'll. But I would think we're in a better spot. I mean, I would.
Well, this
you got to realize, man, you got Tyler Guyton is going to have a whole year of working out and getting his.
Thanks for the super chat, but damn.
It's still a bad Dallas football team. Wow, Drew, again, like we know where that's coming from, bro. You can say whatever you want about Dallas in the playoffs because you're right, but we are a 3-time 12-win team that won 7, should have been 8 with the damn block punt that the dude decided to go and touch.
Kept our team off.
Yeah, again,
we're
probably a 10-win team. Yeah, we're probably a 10-win team. Maybe get in, maybe not.
Surtain's good.
So
it
just seems like none of the Eagle fans want to see us have any sort of success, and I just I laugh. I'm like, why don't you want us to be half decent? It's I know you don't. I like the Eagles being good because I want to have that game, that potential playoff game. That's what it's all about. But some fans just want to be able to play a bad team and smash them. I'm tired of beating the Giants. And this narrative out there that the Giants are close to overtaking us.
Yeah, all they need is a quarterback.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Okay, but they're not getting one of those.
That's not the case. You got a GM like that, that's not the case.
Right. The Giants get a quarterback. Watch out. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they got Olsen. You know what I mean? Giants are a train wreck. Giants are years away.
And I would agree with that as well.
We sit here today. I'm not saying nothing about how far we're going, but we're in a better spot today than we were last year. We were. That's all. In my opinion. Anyway, go ahead.
No. I just wanted.
In my opinion, I don't know how we cannot. I don't know how we cannot be. Leo, we relied on a rookie left tackle who had 7 college games played. That's what.
Make sure that
now
door
he's got
stays
a full
closed.
year of NFL strength and
in the weight room.
That in itself is unbelievable.
Well, you know what? Game time. Like for me, I'm just looking at the fact that this is the first time we've had real continuity in terms of, and I'm talking about from the Philadelphia Eagles, continuity on the coaching staff. You know, this is our first time in a while that our defensive coordinator from last year is going to be the same defensive coordinator this year. Not our offensive coordinator, but the guy that we're bringing in is still in-house.
Yeah, he was in-house. Yeah.
So, and as already said, the language isn't going to change.
So, wait a minute. Hold on. So,
There's a hornet. Can you spray it?
you guys are deeming
I don't have
that
a
because
spray.
he's in-house being brought back. It's good.
But the door needs to stop being open and closed. There's too many loud kids out there on the porch.
But I'll say this. But your guy, Ryan Schottenheimer, has to deal with the front office of the Dallas Cowboys, which is always a thing.
Well, I mean, listen.
But here's the thing.
Yeah,
head coach is basically like the CEO of the team there. He's the one that makes the philosophy. It's the guys underneath him. Jimmy Johnson delegated and had great coaches underneath of him. Jimmy Johnson wasn't there coaching the offensive line. He said, hey, can you make Mark Swignowski a guard into a center?
I was trying to tell people that.
It's the coaches there. The head coach, he's the middleman.
Hearing from Drew and other people that you got to draft first-round offensive linemen. Again, that's not the case. That's not the case. You don't have to get
good offensive line coach.
Yes, you got to learn how to coach up players.
I mean, look at what we did with
been
George
horrible.
Mailata.
Look at what Salmon's been doing. Salmon will find anybody. Everybody says, "Oh my God, Mailata's a once in a lifetime." No, he's not. Dallas had multiple Mailatas back in the day, and they were all other defensive players that they converted. Nate Newton, who was cut. That's why, like I laughed when Wade said Tyler Guyton is a bust. Oh, if that's the case, then Nate Newton, who was cut by Momo's squad, would have
What
never
up, Steele? What it do? What it do? I almost thought you were Carnage at first with that America hat.
You need to give these players, especially nowadays, Leo, when Tyler Guyton.
We in the weekly chat with Mark Holmes and Brian, Game Time Brian and Leo, bunch of NFC East streamers that are also talking about other teams.
That would be a no. You lost a lot of guys, but that's not meaning that you're very good. What's that?
I don't think the interesting thing is that, remember, you gotta, I call it the Super Bowl tax.
Yeah, you know.
Because when you win the Super Bowl.
You're right, it is low today for sure, especially for an early stream.
To have gone through that, and mind you, to your point earlier.
But I'll focus more on our stream here once this stream here is done. Once the weekly meeting is done with the NFC group. The video for this stream is on Mark Holmes' channel. If you want to watch it as well, there's Mark Holmes, and you can go to his channel. And we're live on his channel as well.
Why we did not re-sign him?
Let's see. Eagles are acting like the Cowboys. Here's the difference.
Although
Eagles
I can see his chat, but I have to have it pulled up on my computer.
That will give you a few years of not going out and getting a Saquon or whatever. Fine, but that cachet is long since gone. That's why we're all frustrated. Because loyal Cowboys frustrated. I can't blame them. Everybody wants us to go out and get DK, Leo. I don't think we're a DK Metcalf away from going to the Super Bowl. So why me personally, I'd rather just go young.
Which is why I'm interested. I'm excited for this draft because I can't wait to see what we bring in. We already got a youth movement going on right now. We're like the third. We're tied for the third.
Exciting, isn't it?
See, my thing is, Game. Like I said before, I want quality over quantity, not just quantity.
But you need to fill out your team. That's all. Okay. We haven't gotten into that yet. This is a horrible free agent class.
One thing that people are missing, though, too, typically, think about 2020 when we went crazy in free agency. Don Terry Poe, Gerald McCoy, Emerson Griffin, Clinton Ha-Ha Dix. These were all
some old bad dudes.
Old ones. Now, take a look at the ages of the guys here. We've actually gotten a hell of a lot younger by D-Law going, by Zach Martin going. I think Dante Fowler will be 31. I think he's the oldest guy on the roster right now, followed by Dak Prescott.
That's a good question. Why didn't they want him back? You know, why wouldn't
a 10.5 sack guy?
Why wouldn't Dan Quinn want?
And it was that's a good question.
I mean, that's his guy. He rejuvenated his career. What I like, Mark, to your point, what I like is that, and I don't care. At the end of the day, what anybody says doesn't really bother me. So you can have your opinion, but we got some young, highly talented men that have underachieved with a big chip on their shoulder. I like that. Give me a guy with a chip on their shoulder, I can roll with you.
Maybe I got to bring back the black sheep.
Well, at least the Hot Boys are gone.
Oh, thank God. That, you know, yeah. Just pissed me off.
I'm not one of them. I think any Dallas fan who's ripping D-Law, that's rude. Again, I think Micah's immaturity stepped up. He should have swallowed his tongue and let D-Law get his lick in. D-Law salty that he wasn't offered a deal.
But see, here's the thing.
That was it.
Here's the thing. I think it started when Micah
Parsons argued with Wood Brunson.
Where Micah Parsons said, it's my time. And the lion after.
It was the timing of it, Mark. Literally, it was within.
It was the timing.
It was literally within minutes of D-Law signing in Seattle. And, that's going to come with age.
Sorry about that.
I think Micah understands that now because he kind of zipped it up a little bit. He needs to. A leader sometimes leads without saying anything. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man.
We don't know what the dynamic was between them.
We don't. We know they didn't like each other. But.
Yeah, and we also know, like, Malik Hooker said the same thing last year, too, about the podcast.
He did? And here's the problem, Mark. Right now in that locker room, there exist fans of D-Law. It's now separated, right? You're going to have a couple guys. You know what?
How many, though? How many? How many other than Osa?
Know, but again, if it's only one or two, that's one or two too many. That's all I'm saying.
But who could it be that's in there right now?
I don't know. I would only say Osa, and that's why he tried to break it up. Osa tried to break it up.
My question to you, Mark, is: do we now have the right leadership? Okay, you know as well as anybody. You played the game at a decent level, so leaders, you can't learn to be a leader, right? You're either a leader or you're not. Everybody's gonna see right through you if you're trying to be a fake leader, right? You know, like in that one game, like for instance, remember that one game where Mike is going up and down and saying, "Come on, we gotta play better. We gotta do this and we gotta do that." And Micah looked at him and said, "You got to do your job." You know, because Micah wasn't stopping the run; he was just doing what he does. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. That's all.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is now the de facto leader.
He is. Yeah, I know.
So we'll see how that goes. But I still think that Micah did a lot of maturing through the course of the season.
I think there's a lot of the team that's behind Micah that have also been tweeting. The only one that tried to say anything opposing Micah, and that was Osa. And he didn't try to go opposing Micah. He just was like, "Yo, what about the brotherhood? We have brotherhood."
Lewis came out and kind of said, "Well,
yeah, but he's gone."
He's a little salty too, but it is what it is, man.
I knew Jordan Lewis was a D-Law guy, but I was questioning, wondering, well, I mean, he might be gone as well. Like, there might be a reason for that.
Actually, hold on. The dude, he brings up a good point. One could argue that Micah responded to D-Law was stepping up for the team.
Yes, I agree with that. I do, the dude. Shout out to the dude.
It's like, screw you, man. We're trying to win this thing.
Yeah, and if you are a former Dallas Cowboy and you go to another team, what is the best way to get?
What up, Jalen? What it do? What it do, brother? What's good? What's good? Pin you up there real
Everybody
quick.
does it. Cole Beasley did it. Chris Canty did it.
Dalton Schultz did it.
Everybody does it.
Yep, that's their way of mending them with the next team. That's their way of being like, look, I turned my back on them. I'm with y'all now. To me, that's what that is. To me, that's what that is.
Yep. You're right there. I agree with that. At the end of the day,
Or maybe,
start playing games.
or maybe when a team leaves, they've been so frustrated while they was dead, all the BS they had to go through, and all the ups and downs they felt. They said there was no leaders on the team. Maybe they feel, hey, I can speak out now. I couldn't speak out there when I was there.
Did it. You say that to the Bengals. Everybody does it.
No, I'm not saying every player does.
Think about how Tom Brady was with New England and how he became once he went with Tampa Bay. So, aren't they all kind
Agreed, Randy McIntyre.
there's certain things that you can and cannot say and so on.
And I feel like my D-Laws was really more in a joking way because the camera guy said, because you're not there. And he said, yeah, after that. You barely hear the camera guy, though. All you hear is D-Laws say, yeah. And they said, I'm here. Yeah. Exactly. And the camera guy said, you're not there. And then he said, yeah, I'm here.
That's why the Royal, that's why I think Micah probably shouldn't have said anything. Because if he heard the whole comment in totality, there really wasn't nothing. It's a little bit of snide. Everybody's got to remember how this all started. It started with Micah's agent saying, you want Micah back? This is what it's going to take. No, I don't know what that number is. I'm guessing around $15 million, but I don't know. And Dallas probably looked at that and said, okay, I'm not going to. If I offer you less than that, when you said this is what it would take to bring me back, then that would be. You saw what happened in the last negotiation, right, Mark? Where they, the Catboy, your godson, offered him a 1-year, $10 million deal. So Dallas wasn't going down that road again to publicly underpay him in his last and final contract. But Dallas offered him nothing. And it's just a weird thing that Dallas hasn't re-signed any of DeMarcus Lawrence's clients this year.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said there's a purpose for that.
I believe Golston was his client. So there's a little something there with that particular agent.
There's a deeper purpose.
Whoever it is, it's one of those things. So
but the Micah and D-Law beef started a little earlier. It started when D-Law said that he was too tired.
Yeah. And even that guy, we always bust on D-Law, but that got taken way out of whack.
I agree.
He didn't say he was too tired.
I agree.
He was probably referring to Micah and the boys, but it just all comes out. It was bad timing. This is why.
So it feels like it was more. Is it more about the fact that he said something, or
one of the boys actually, I don't know, broke your window.
You would hope that a guy who played 11 years, right, and has missed 30 games in this league over his 11-year career. Just add that up. He's missed multiple seasons. He's missed close to 30 games, and he's made a lot of money. And he got $18 million guaranteed, and he has to go to Seattle. Okay, and he's probably a little butthurt. And he wants. You're near. Part of this. He can say whatever he wants. He does. His family's here. He's on record as saying he's not going anywhere. He's going to live here after his career is over, like most players, because it's cheap and for many reasons. He's a little butthurt, and that's what happens in these things. Sometimes you just gotta, lead off. I know me. I've learned. I never used to be this way, but sometimes it's better not to say nothing. Go to bed, wake up, and things are better. Just you need to put some time between your feelings getting hurt and you opening your mouth, and then things kind of work out for themselves. But
one of the things that I've come to learn, especially with the work that I do, is that a lot of times the best thing you can do is to not say anything.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, it doesn't matter whether you're saying something good or you're saying something bad. It's actually saying something. You could unintentionally empower somebody because you've acknowledged them. It's the acknowledgement of whatever they said can be empowering in of itself. And that's
I agree with that. I agree. Because
like that's the part.
There's been times where you may upset me and I'll come right back at you, right? Like Drew has a way of doing that to me, and I'll go right back at him. And then after a while, it's like, well, it was no big deal. Like, why did I get upset? Because he feels a certain way. I've learned to just kind of just take it in, let somebody have their opinion, and then I'm fine. It's fine. So again, I think that all comes with. I just think that Mike will get better at it. I think he has already gotten better. I think Mike has gotten a lot better, right, Mark? I think he's matured a lot.
Yeah.
But he's not there yet. He's a very young player in this league. Mikey came out early, and again, I think it's going to be fine.
D-Law was the same way when he was younger. I remember people specifically telling him to stop talking in interviews and go play football. I think even his wife said it to him.
Real quick, this is something on a personal note. I just want to, because it just came through on my phone, but I just want to publicly congratulate Leo Bridgewater Jr. for being selected to the Gentleman's Ball, which is a big deal here.
Nice.
He's a senior.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
He was accepted into Temple University, Seton Hall, William Patterson, Hampton. And a few other schools. So, congratulations, son. I love you and I'm proud. Thanks, Mark, for letting me do that.
No problem. You can say Micah has matured a lot because I can remember last year at this time he was basically saying, I haven't met the defensive coordinator. Now Zim's going to have to bend my way, and literally saying that, I don't want to be here until it's mandatory because I have to get my body right. Right. You do that. He did a 180 on that where he's like, I want to get the contract done and out of the way and all that. So that way I can be here for OTAs and
1 minute
and so on to be part of the team. Because to me,
what up, Philly Matt? What up, Miss Pittsburgh? Everybody here, welcome. Appreciate it. Sorry, I'm not as attentive to this chat, but it's mostly me doing this chat. So stay focused with us and stay patient with me, and we will be doing more one-on-one time after this is over with us. So
and it was kind of like, you bring
this is just a weekly conference.
They're really good ones. And you keep on going through their strength in numbers, and at least bringing these guys in now before OTAs means they all working together to hopefully figure out who's going to be worth keeping and not. So when you get to training camp, you got an idea of who's going to be on this team and what they're going to be doing, and hopefully you're now coaching to get ready for week one, not evaluating players and trying to bring in more to supplement what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean. Again, I know this will be my final comment, but I feel like I feel better about the team now going at this point than I did last year. That's all. Just to Leo's previous point. What does that mean? That means I feel better now. That doesn't mean about how many wins or
right.
I feel better about the team because you got a new coach. You don't have. Listen, everybody forgets 33% of every NFL roster gets turned over every year. This is not a new thing, but. We have D-Law was a different cat, I love D-Law. He was a nasty player. He played the run well, but he was a different type of dude where, I don't know, he just had that attitude where he was
going to set a tone.
Yeah, and who's going to step up? Hopefully Micah does it for the right. Is Micah going to do it?
And that's two tone setters we lost. Because we lost two tone setters. J. Lou was a tone setter.
Yes.
DeMarcus Lawrence was a tone setter. That's two that.
It don't count, right? We love Overshown.
Can I say this? Can I say this? And this is for all of you except for Momo. Is that what I will say that's different? What I will say that's different is, for not the team, okay, not the team, but. The fan base has come back quicker this year.
No. They
than you did last year.
They're skeptical.
You don't seem to be as hurt. You're much more involved. Well, you know what? Yeah, you're a lot more involved. You know what I'm saying? The enthusiasm.
I would agree to an
A
extent.
lot more better this year than it was this time.
Last year,
Seven of the latest.
It was a hope and a prayer with everything. Because, again, Leo, it is nothing more frustrating than knowing you just put yourself in our spot. We won 12 wins again for the third time, knowing that shit ain't going to happen again.
We were 16-0 at home.
You better eat it. You better take it. You better run with it, like what the Eagles did this year. You better take your success and finish the fight. They did it, and Dallas had their opportunity, and we shit the bed. So you get last year. That's what you get. That's what we deserve for blowing our chances. You handed us the division the year before last on a silver platter, and we got all the way up to the second pick, and we crapped the bed. We were planning victory parties before the game. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
As a Cowboy fan, last year, going into last year, following that Green Bay game was embarrassing. And for our organization to answer that game by doing nothing, that's why I go to Loyal, dude. It's way better than it was last year because they just lost the biggest game since I can remember. And they got embarrassed and it was over by halftime, and they did nothing until the draft.
Yeah.
That was a slap in the face. This year's totally different. I don't know what that means, but it's different. I feel better, at least for now.
I think it means
that's why I said, like, when I think about, because I already asked about how you guys feel about the team. Forget the team. I'm just looking at the fan base, right? You guys are much more.
All right. Yeah.
Y'all went through the fire, at least the proverbial fire.
Yeah.
At this point, and so now, not that y'all haven't been given reason to have it, because there are some things that are different, like.
What's good, Backshot? What it do, brother? We up here in the weekly chat box.
Being told who his coaching staff is.
Actually at the combine.
Talking at the combine, yep.
And what's your
so we actually had our coaches at the combine. Last year, they were back in Dallas.
Right. So I just think that you guys are, there are some things that we've seen, and I don't know, maybe Philadelphia Eagles fan base can take a little, credit, because maybe we gave Jerry such a hard time talking shit to him at the link that maybe he decided to, maybe he decided to you know what? Go ahead, son, you got it. Y'all do y'all thing, because they gave him a hard time at the link, bro. You know what I'm saying? So y'all owe us.
That's the way to set it up, Leo. The Cowboys gonna go 13-3 or 13-4 next year. Leo's gonna say, remember, this all started when at the link last year when Jerry. That's the way it all started. So y'all should be thanking me. I like how you set it up. So if the Cowboys have a terrible season, you can be on us. If the Cowboys have a great season, you can be on us.
I just seen it coming. Either way, I seen it coming. Yeah.
Record is out, bro.
What?
The tournament record is out.
Oh yeah, who's in?
7.
At the latest.
I see Michigan won the Big Ten. I seen a few teams.
All the teams that's supposed to be in is in.
Okay. I'm just going for Norfolk State. And
they're in.
So, I've got to get ready to wrap this up, good people. And take care of something. Yes. So, I would say, with the exception of Wade, that people are feeling better that we've had activity. Leo, of course, is being Leo. Momo has gone dark on us.
No, I'm right here.
But there's no picture anymore.
Mark, you didn't have to mute me or anything. I've been kind.
Okay.
He said, you asked me about free agency, so I was telling you about free agency. I was just being nice.
Alrighty. being said.
That was funny, boy.
I'm no punk bitch. I ain't no punk bitch. I'm no punk bitch.
I'm no punk bitch. All right, good. We gotta get up out of here. All right, I appreciate everybody being here, and we will see you guys tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
It's sad anymore. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Somebody in here. Back it up. I'll take care of this one. Girl, get off yourself. Nothing wrong. Everything's gonna be fine.
All right. Y'all have a good one. All right. So now that's over. Now we're back to the regular scheduled programming. Oh, damn, the volume's loud as hell. What, Micah? What? You're full of yourself, boy. No boy full of himself. So, hey, hopefully everybody's doing all right. How is everybody doing? Sorry about that. I planned on being on at 6. Went on a job, found out that they joined on at 5. So then once I got back from the job at 5:30, I made sure to join into part of the podcast and part of the stream over there on their conference call. And then now we can do what we got over here. What's up, Terrence? What's good with you, brother? What's good with you? Tap in over here. So we hearing some things with the Cowboys. They hearing rumors that the defensive backs are recruiting and trying to get Stephon Gilmore back in. This D-Law and Micah thing is a little bit wild. Probably could have been avoided, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. All right, chill. Chill, baby. Trying to see what I can pull up. What? Yeah. You're full of yourself. I see. Alright. Trying to see if we can find anything new. Just pop the kickstand up. Tripod fell down. Trade who for some picks? Who are you talking about trading, Terrence? I mean, we have 11 picks. Or now we have 10, technically. What? The fan? What about it? The fan's always there. Who are you suggesting that get traded? I don't think the Cowboys are necessarily going to trade a player, more so than maybe take some of their comp picks to trade either for a 4th round pick overall in the draft, or maybe to trade them for a player from another team. I think there's some instances that are like that it could be. But I don't know who you're suggesting. All right, Dallas Cowboys on the Thomas. We already know. Gilmore, yeah. See, this is talking about Stephon Gilmore being recruited.
It seems like the Dallas Cowboys.
AOC, shout out to AOC. I don't own the rights to this audio.
Kanye Thomas is giving his best recruitment pitch for former Dallas Cowboys cornerback Stephon Gilmore to make his return. With the Hamburglar Mike McCarthy and Mr. I'm Tired DeMarcus Lawrence gone, Gilly, I promise it's safe to come back. And Cowboys fans, you should want him to come back. Stephon.
I mean, I would take Gilmore back, but no, I don't think they're going to trade Parsons. It's too young, too early in his career for that. I think if there was anybody that was on the trade market, it would be Trayvon, but he's not quite even in that situation because of his injury. I mean, if we were to trade him, honestly, who would we pick up that we would even think would replace him out of the draft? I don't think there's a player in the draft that you could say that you're going to be able to replace him with. What up, Alyssa? What it do? What it do? Welcome in, everybody. Make sure you tap on that like button as you come through. We are back in the one-on-one time. The conference call is over from the Mark Holmes channel. Shout out to Mark Holmes, Game Time Brian, Leo, Derek, Momo, everybody over there that tunes in on that. Shout outs to all of them. But yeah, it's crazy. I would take Stephon Gilmore back. I'm gonna listen to the rest of this. It's not very long. It's a short.
Gilmore only allowed an 87.5 quarterback rating when targeted last season while playing close to 87% of his team's total snaps for the Vikings. With the Dallas Cowboys still needing help at outside corner, Stephon Gilmore coming back would be a welcome addition. Be sure to follow for more Dallas Cowboys content.
I agree. The only thing I think with that is I'm still wondering who they're going to play in the nickel position from where J-Lou did. Because I know that Deron Bland can play the nickel, and he's good in the nickel. But then at that point, with Trayvon hurt, are we leaving him outside and moving somebody else into the nickel? That's going to be an important role for the Cowboys to fill moving forward, for sure. Let's see what else is going on. What up, Messi? What it do? What it do? The truth is different. The Dallas Cowboys have a structure flaw. Get up. ESPN 2 days ago. We haven't played that since 2 days ago. I like things that are a little more new. We got Adam Scheffner breaking. Right? We can do this. They signed the Cooper Rush. What up, Shroom?
Anthony Richardson. Could we maybe see him request a trade?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
To be answered there. Lastly, let's go ahead and get to
I hear you, girl.
Free agent wide receivers that are remaining. Names include Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, and Keenan Allen, of course. Walk us through your top landing spots.
That is crazy, Messi.
And what really makes sense.
That is crazy.
All great players.
All right, and again, this audio that I'm playing, it's not owned by me. It's owned by ESPN or CBS Sports, but the person whose video this is don't own it either.
Jordan, all guys north of 30, and all the reasons why there's.
Of course, they had to set Michigan and Michigan State.
Field and be help for whoever the quarterback ends up being in Pittsburgh. We don't yet know, Jordan.
Yeah, we definitely big question mark there. We will see where those three.
Will Johnson's going to be a good lineman. That's for sure.
Names and those three receivers land as NFL free agency continues. Ryan Wilson joining me here with the very latest in the NFL on CBS Sports HQ. You can get to the NFL where Lamar Jackson has a new backup quarterback.
Here we go.
The Ravens have signed former Cowboys signal caller Cooper Rush. It's a 2-year, $12.2 million deal per multiple reports after Dak Prescott.
He had 12 touchdowns.
He started 8 games
in 12 games for Dallas.
12 touchdowns and 5 picks. With Rush now in Baltimore, the Cowboys will need a new backup quarterback. Will Greer is currently the only other
Messi.
On the Dallas.
Exactly.
With Trey Lance currently a free agent.
Yeah, Trey Lance is still a free agent. Maybe he'll come back to Dallas. I know that Dallas is going to draft a QB late in the round, but I think that Trey Lance is agent had already turned the Cowboys down. I think they already offered him a comeback. Yeah, Cooper Rush is. I mean, they were all free agents last year. All 3 quarterbacks last year were free agents. They got the Dak deal done, and they kept Cooper Rush and Trey Lance as free agents. That's why I was mad, Terrence. That's why I was mad that we didn't play Trey Lance enough. I think we knew what Cooper Rush was. I think we knew who he was from the games we had already seen from him. I think we needed to play Trey Lance so that we could properly evaluate him. He has not been properly evaluated in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. He played 1 game for the 49ers. It was pouring rain where the 49ers and the Bears were sliding on the field in the rain. Literally sliding on the field in the rain. The next game, he gets hurt. He never played another NFL game. He came in at the very end of a games that were already gone and over with. But at the end of the day, he has never had a proper actual showing with a first team to go out there and see what he can do. I think we should have gave Trey Lance the opportunity when Dak got hurt to go show what he can do. Win, loss, or draw, we were out of it anyways. There was no reason to think that we were going to be able to save our season. We had too many injuries. So at that point, it just wasn't worth it. They needed to put Trey Lance in so that they could evaluate him. They were paying him $5 million, which at a third-string quarterback, that would have put him at the second highest paid backup QB in the league, and he wasn't even a backup. I don't know basketball like that. I think we are going to get you thinking Ewers? I think we are going to get a quarterback late in the draft. They already talked about that they're going to be drafting a quarterback. So who it is, we don't know yet. What up, the dude? What it do? No, he didn't start against Washington. He came in. I think Cooper Rush wasn't playing good, and he came in, and the game was what it was already at that point. What up, Taylor? What it do? Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch basketball to know basketball. I watch football. I don't have time to sit and watch multiple sports. Really? Again? You a liar. Sit down. You a liar. But yeah, not giving Trey Lance an actual opportunity to start a couple of those games, even if they were dunk and dinks. Cooper Rush was a dunk and dink. He couldn't throw over like 15, 20 yards. He couldn't really do it. It was inaccurate as hell and seemed to likely go to the opposing team when he did. I think didn't Wilson get signed by somebody? I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Jameson, he's hit or miss on in the games. Some games Jameson will play flawless, and then some games Jameson will throw more interceptions than anything. What, dude? Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. What? You need your butt changed? Is that what? Don't call me over here and then try to run from it. See? No poop. No nothing. Waste my time. Waste my time. Yeah, boy, come on now. The light. I'm gonna turn the light on. It's too bright. There's a big glare on the TV. There you go. Brush and clean. Alright, what? You got me? Alright. Yeah. Alright. What up, Blind Glathern? What it do? I don't know what any of that is. Royals is a what guy? can't. It doesn't show me. Let me pull up the channel on there so I can actually see it. Shh, Micah. Dude, yes. Hey, get out of there, Micah. Stop messing with the light bulbs. Let me pull it up. Then I'll be able to see it. I love football. I don't hate on other sports. I just don't, you don't ever hear me hate on them. Well, some sports you'll hear me say are like watching grass grow, because to me, unless I'm at a baseball stadium, in the environment, to me that's like watching grass grow. Same with golf. To me, it's just not entertaining. And I got screwed. Royals is a football guy first. Yeah, I definitely am. I'm football. I'm family. I'm work. Like, that's my life. I really don't get a whole lot of time to study football as much as I want to. Because I got to be a father. I got to be a husband. I got to be a provider. So maybe if this channel grows enough and it's to the point where I don't have to be a plumber and this is helping me be a provider, then at that point I'll be able to study more sports and do more things like that. But that's hard to do with the how my life is. I'm sure, dude. I'm sure. Watching them jump up and down, I'm sure. Oh boy, I just got an image. What up, Oast man? What it do? What it do? Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. Like I said, make sure if y'all have not, make sure y'all tap that like button. Some reason a lot of people haven't joined in on this stream yet this week. Normally we have a fairly good showing. That was the third time we've done the conference call podcast with Mark Holmes' channel. Brian, Game Time Brian was out there. Like I said, Leo was out there. Thomas, Derek, Momo. There was a bunch of good people out there. They're all fans in the NFC East. Whether they be Giants, Redskins, Eagles, or Cowboys, they're all there. So yeah, I like doing that. I'm a member on that channel, so I'm able to be part of the actual conversation that is happening, and I like to be able to show that as well. Show that, my part of it. My channel gets to see me interact with it. It is how I interact. I appreciate that, Terrence. Appreciate that. Hey, it'll come, brother. One is fun, but 3 is a handful. That's for sure. And I got ranges of ages. I'm 12, 8, and 3. 8-year-old's about to be 9, though. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Messi, not so much. Most women's sports, unfortunately, lose more money than they make. Like women's basketball, it's losing money every month. It's not profiting. It's not profitable. It's subsidized by the NBA, and it's like a hobby project of the NBA's. That, all right, we're losing money here. And that's all it is. It's got to be considered like a hobby at that point if they're going to continue to do it, because no real business investment is worth continuously losing money every month, millions of dollars every month, to justify keeping it going. So I don't know where women's basketball or anything like that is headed, but I know it loses more money than it makes. 100%. I mean, it's subsidized by the NBA. Like, the NBA pays its bills because it doesn't make enough money to pay its own bills. That's why it's not a proper or a good business investment for the NBA to be doing it. The only way they can classify it as being a good investment is because turning it into a hobby to show that they are for women, which, there's nothing wrong with that. I agree with that settlements to an extent, but at the same time, you can't afford to just dump money into stuff. Yeah. As much as Reese wants herself to be, thinks that she's also why people watch WNBA. No, people watch the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, because she is entertaining, she is good at what she does, and she has slowly progressed in the WNBA, but not to the extent that it's profitable, even her. So I don't know what Reese is thinking. I think if the NBA ends up shutting down, she'll probably be over there on OF. I could be wrong, but that's where she'll be profitable, because that's what I hear a lot of people talking about that are asked questions about the NBA or the WNBA. Like, a lot of them that are in those interviews and talking, that's what they're saying. So I'm just reiterating it. I didn't come up with it. Now, I will say UFC, there are some, like Amanda Nunes. I think she's a hell of a fighter. And that Ashley Serreros, or whatever her name is, some of those UFC fighters that are females, that's different. I think that's a profitable women's sport. I think that the MMA world is actually profiting from that. But they mix it in with the men's. Other than it's either a girls' match or a man's match, it's mixed all in on one sport. That serves as good. I hear you, Messi. But yeah, it's just absolutely crazy how that plays out like that. I agree, Messi. I agree. And there are some very phenomenal fighters that are females that are in that industry. All right, I'm going to listen into what this video is talking about with Cooper Rush signing to Baltimore here.
There. We will see where those three names and those three receivers land as NFL free agency continues. Ryan Wilson joining me here with the very latest in the NFL on CBS Sports HQ. You can get to the NFL where Lamar Jackson has a new backup quarterback. The Ravens have signed former Cowboys signal caller.
Oh, not a problem, Shroom. The Cowboys and Rico Dowdle this offseason, I think both thought that Rico was going to get more than he did. The Cowboys offered him $3+ million a year. His agent turned it down because the market was suggesting that he was going to get $6 million a year. So he thought he was going to get $6 million a year, and he overplayed his hand. Now, I think the Cowboys also thought that he might get that $6 million. And they turned around really quick and went and signed Javonte Williams. And then Rico now realized, I don't know what to do. The Cowboys have already signed Javonte Williams, and I'm not getting $6 million. So he went home to go be a Carolina Panther, because he's from the Panthers. He's from North Carolina. Rico Dowdle played Carolina college ball. Now, Shroom's from Germany. Appreciate you, Terrence, with the $5. Hey, wanted to bless you for your channel. You got my support, brother. Let's have a great Cowboy season this year. I appreciate you, Terrence. Thank you. Much appreciation, brother. Man, shout outs to you as well. But yeah, I think Rico overplayed his hand, and then the Cowboys thought that his hand was accurate. And then he slowly found out that he slowly found out then that he wasn't going to get $6 million. So he went and signed with the team that he played college in the same city. And he definitely went on and became a Panther. I think he very well could have just stayed at the Cowboys. The Cowboys would have had a better running back than Javonte Williams. Now, the Cowboys have also then gone and tried to add to that in Miles Sanders. But at the same time, I don't think Miles Sanders or Javonte Williams are going to be the starting running back in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that they're going to be the RB2. I think that it's very possible that one or both of them aren't even on the team because we still got Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn's still here, even though I think that's a failed experiment. But I think Javonte Williams very likely might not even be on the Cowboys starting roster. And I think there's a possibility that Miles Sanders isn't either, but I do think that he is probably the RB2. Now, if they don't get a running back in the draft, I almost think they're going to get 2 running backs in the draft. And if they end up not getting one and they find out throughout training camp and preseason that the rookie running back isn't better than Miles Sanders, then Miles Sanders may make the number 1 RB spot. But at that point, they may be in the looks for a trade at that point. Yeah, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams dealt with injuries as well. Now, Rico Dowdle has also dealt with injuries. He's not last year, but previous. Rico, you got to think he's 27. He's been a Cowboy now for a while. He's been held off the field by a lot of injuries. Last year was the most healthiest season. Now, I'll say Miles Sanders did not have good seasons with the Panthers, but Miles Sanders, under a team that has a really good O-line in Philly, averaged 5 yards a carry. He had a season where he was 5.5. He had a season where he was 5.3. He had a season at 4.8 and 4.9. So he averaged right around 5 yards a carry with the Eagles. Now, the Eagles have a stout O-line, so that helps. And he was the RB2 there. But I think if Miles Sanders is healthy, he can be I'm good. He can be a quality starting. Huh? I ate a BLT. But I think that if the Cowboys can't find a starting running back in the draft, I think then Miles Sanders might be the fallback plan. But last year, Zeke was the fallback plan. And Zeke ended up being RB1 starting the season. Miles Sanders is already better than that. Zeke can't do nothing right now. I don't even know that Zeke is on a football team right now. Do you guys think that any number 1 seeds are going down to a 16 seed in the tournament this year? I've seen a couple tough matchups for 2 seeds. I got you. I don't know. I think Miles Sanders will rush for 500 yards if healthy. And I think that Dallas's O-line is going to be better this year. Even if it's just the people that we had last year, we got better on the right side, honestly, when Zach Martin went down, because Zach Martin last year was a shell of himself, dealing with injury, and then he retired, and there was a reason for that. Injury and Father Time both kind of hit him. And once Brock Hoffman came in as his replacement, Terrence Steele then slowly started playing better. Terrence Steele then also became our best O-line for the last 6 weeks. Where earlier in the season, we didn't really have an O-lineman that we could pick out and say he was doing good. Our rookie Cooper Beebe as center was doing decent, but that was about it. Even our star in Tyler Smith didn't have a good season last year. So I think that, with a better O-line being this year, I think there's a possibility for that. No, yeah, I think that we're going to have a running back that probably carries more of a load than that. Because we are focusing heavily on the run with our coaching scheme, with who we're picking up as pieces. I think that the O-line is gonna look better this year, just with experience alone. We brought in one piece to kind of help be a rotational piece, is in Rob Jones. I don't know what the draft may or may not bring us. I think this 12 spot that people are penciling in a wide receiver at, I don't know. If the Cowboys find a way to get a trade for somebody or pick up a wide receiver free agent, I don't know what's going to happen with that, because if we don't get one at 12, I think that we could lose out on all the real good wide receivers. But I could see the Cowboys picking a player on defense early in the draft, a cornerback or something. I could also see him going with someone on the O-line, but it's hard to say. I honestly think, though, Terrence, I really think that the Raiders are probably going to take Genty ahead of us, honestly. When Pete Carroll went and got Geno Smith, and Pete Carroll brought in, didn't he bring in Devontae too or something like that? I think that they're going to be looking for a running back in that position. I hope he slips. I would love for Genty to slip at 12. I would take him in a heartbeat at 12. He said, "Good pick, bro," is what he meant to say to you, Messi. But I think that our coaches that we're bringing in are run-heavy O-line coaches. We brought in Arizona's offensive lineman who was their offensive lineman last year, who's big in the run game with the tug and pull, with pulling your O-line from one side to the other to have blockers in front. I definitely think that they're making a heavy emphasis on the run game, both on offense and defense. With the two linebackers we picked up, those are two that are supposedly much better at the run game. Maybe not as good in pass pro, but I think that Murray might be a little better in pass pro than people are betting. I think that he was a little underrated in that from watching some of his film. I don't think the Redskins are winning the division. The Redskins are having a bad offseason. They're not like they're getting scorned on the three-letter networks. I think either the Eagles win the first back-to-back division for the first time in 20 years, or that the Cowboys get the division. I honestly don't think the Redskins are going to get the division. They're going to have to draft really well. And they've lost their best defensive pass rusher to us. We took him back because he was a Cowboy before he was a Redskin. And honestly, he's kind of opening the door for the other Redskins that were Cowboys previous to kind of be like, hey, look, come back over here. And I also feel like JD5 may have a sophomore slump. Most defensive coordinators now have a year of film that they can break down on him, watch on him, learn his tendencies and everything. And it tends to get harder in the second year for rookie quarterbacks because defenses now learn how to peg them. That's why they call it a sophomore slump. I don't think the Cowboys finish third. I think the Cowboys will finish either second or first. I think either the Eagles will be the first repeat in 20 years or the Cowboys will win the division. But I'm not going to put my record out there. I think that the Redskins are going to not do what the Redskins did last year. I don't think they're going to get the luck that they had last year. The Redskins got lucky with a lot of wins last year. Like, a lot of them came down to luck. And I just don't know that they're going to get that 2 years in a row. So I think it's either going to be Philly, that is the first repeat in 20 years, or Dallas. If you see what's going on in Washington right now, they're not doing anything. Washington's not doing anything in the free agency. They're pulling the Dallas move. They're actually losing more players. And again, like I said, they lost their best defensive pass rusher. What up, Sarah? What it do? What it do? Welcome in, welcome through. Don't forget to tap that like button, too. I think we're going to beat Washington. I mean, we beat Washington one of the times last year with our backups. With our backups, we beat Washington one of the 2 games. And we blew the second game. We blew it. Like, we could have won both games. We could have won both games against Washington last year. Stroud probably will eat a lot of grass. I'm going to play this video, though, of, I haven't got to play the whole thing yet. It's, of the Ravens signing Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. It's a 2-year, $12.2 million deal for multiple reports after Dak Prescott.
Trying to get the audio to hear. Might have to turn it up.
8 games for Dallas, throwing for
y'all hear that?
And 5 picks. With Rush now in Baltimore, the Cowboys will need a new back.
Oh, honestly, Terrence, I don't think Debo's going to be worth what they paid for him, for sure. I don't think Debo's going to do much. The Giants are the Giants. Those Shroom. The Giants are the Giants. Ain't nobody worried about the Giants. The Giants aren't smart enough to win their last game to give them the first pick. They got lucky that they fell to 5. They could have fell much worse. I'm very confident in the Lions this year because the only person they're losing on the defense is Zeller. You can't underestimate, though, Messi. You can't underestimate the loss of both your coaches. The offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. You cannot underestimate the loss of those two. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. No, I'm already fed in grease today.
You do it to me. You done it to me, so let me do it to you. You can do it. I'm gonna make the party. Bro, he's just using. Come help me. Said you're gonna team on me? Why are you teaming on me?
Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had to drain the grease off the beef. My wife's making tacos right now. Got a shepherd bike. Good dog. I mean, yeah, they're mites. I'm not saying that they can't be great. I'm not saying that they can't be great, Messi. I'm just saying you can't underestimate what the loss of 2 coordinators in one season can do. Like, that defensive coordinator, you didn't just lose his plays and stuff. You lost his mentality, the things that the other coaches can't emulate. His mindset, how he instills, his mentality, and his presence. And it can go both ways on defense and offense. Those other coaches can try to emulate it, but at the end of the day, it's a maybe. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. It could look great. It could look absolutely great. No doubt. But it could also be not so great. Cooper Rush was kind of trash. I wasn't a Cooper Rush fan. But what up, Kid Cowboy? What's good with you, brother? My example is, look how well Jack Campbell stood on the line. No, yeah, the players are going to do the player things. Players are going to do player things. I'm not talking. The players are going to play their game. And I'm not saying he can't. I don't know. You know, it's a question mark until we see it happen. Until we see how it plays out, it's just a question mark. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm saying I don't know what it's going to be. That's all I'm saying, Messi. I don't know what it's going to be for y'all. It could go either way. Hopefully it goes good for you guys. I mean, I don't know, you know. It's the unknown. Yeah, I mean, they weren't all his games. Cooper Rush, Kyle Orton Jr., yeah. Or John Kitna. Or Andy Dalton at the best. I think Andy Dalton's actually better. Cooper Rush didn't just win 10 games. The football team also won 10 games. You can't put wins and losses on a player. It's a team sport. This ain't tennis. I appreciate that, though, kid. I appreciate it, brother. Everything is a might, but just the same. Personally, I wouldn't worry, and I wouldn't be surprised if our coaches were better than that. Hey, they very well may be. What it do, Team Mac? Shout out to you. What's good, brother? Welcome in. Yeah, I mean, it very well may be. But for me, it's a question mark. It's your team. You're going to be a homer for your team. That's just the way it is. I'm going to be the same way about the Cowboys. But at the end of the day, you having question marks about the Cowboys is no different than me having question marks about the Lions. What up, Carnage? You can't put a win or loss on one person. You can't. It takes a team to get the game done. It takes all 53 to win good, win big. Andy Dalton is a good backup now. Andy Dalton is right where he belongs. I think he's a decent backup. We had him back up the Cowboys for, I think it was 2 or 3 years. You can't, yeah, I mean, you as a person, you can. As a person, yes, you can, but it doesn't mean that it's correct. I think my team's doing good things too. My team is completely different than they have been any other season. The closest they've came to this kind of off season was 2020, the year that Mike McCarthy signed with us. They went out and got Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. But that was really about it. And this year they've done much more. Now, the names aren't necessarily as big, but I think the impact the players that we're bringing in are going to play could very well be as big. Now, Gilmore played big for us. Cooks, not so much. Turquoise person. What it do, back? What it do? Well, I mean, of course we're going to. We've watched Jared Goff before he became a Lion. Now, I think Jared Goff has had some really great seasons as a Lion. But as a quarterback, what the Lions did is they found a system that fit Jared Goff very well, and they allowed him to play in that system. But he didn't do anything like spectacular. At the end of the day, it was the team. I feel much better about the Cowboys going into this season than I did last season. I still need to see more, but I feel much better what they've done. I think the team is already better than it was last year. The team that we put on the field last year, I don't think is as good as the team that we have right now. Yeah, they beat the shit out of the Cowboys backups. Absolutely, Shroom. Everybody in the league did last year that played against us. For the most part, when you have 50% of your salary cap on IR for the majority of the season, then yeah, I mean, and then you lose a ton of players to free agency the year before. You do absolutely nothing. We brought in Kendricks late, and that was really the only acquisition we made all off season, and we lost like 11 players. Yeah, fire truck. Here. What up, Steel? What it do? Toxic Steel. You know the deal. Oh, I mean, I'm impressed with what they did with the coaches. The Cowboys don't never do what they did this year with the coaches, as in get rid of the entire coaching staff, and then the coach you bring in, you let him bring in and evaluate his own staff. The Cowboys don't do that. And then the Cowboys were talking about, what they were going to do. Sounded good. Free agency came, and they've actually been active day 1, 2, and 3. They don't never do that. Cowboys don't never get active in the free agency before the draft. They never do. And we've been active all days leading up to the draft, and we were very active throughout the draft, filling holes. Not necessarily going and picking big star players or anything like that, but we're filling the holes that were needed to be filled. You think they're going to only win 5 or 6? Hey, I mean, that's how you feel, Kid Cowboy. That's how you feel, brother. I'm not here to tell you what you feel is wrong. I'm not even going to put a record out there until after I see what they do in the preseason, or what they do in training camp, or what they do in the draft. I can't put a win-loss record out there before I know what players we're going to get in the draft, before I've seen what training camp looks like. I bet they'd be better than the Steelers. I bet the Steelers got 2 crash outs that cost more penalty yards than they gain on the field. I mean, we went 7-10 with all backups and no Dak Prescott. If we stayed healthy last year, we probably go 10-7. Still probably missed the playoffs because Washington and Philly just did so good and other teams did good. But I think that the Cowboys, had they just stayed healthy, win 10 games. Or had they just used Rico Dowdle before week 8 and actually ran the ball like they did with Cooper Rush. They didn't do that with Dak Prescott. Zeke Elliott was starting. By week 16, Zeke Elliott was asking to get off the team because Rico Dowdle had already outplayed him. And he had only been there since week 8 making plays. I think the power struggle in the front office is what's changing. Stephen Jones now has the title of co-owner. He's never had that title until about 2 months ago. Stephen Jones has been the chief operating officer of player personnel. He has been the COO, but no, has he ever been the co-owner. He now has the title of co-owner and COO. He lost the chief operating officer of player personnel, but he gained co-owner. And then now Stevens Jones is the one you hear in the media the most. We got to hear from Jerry Jones when Zach Martin retired. That was about it. And then all we hear from is Stephen Jones. Now, what I think will change with that is when Jerry does finally fall back, whether it be this year or next year, I think it's coming. I think that Stephen Jones isn't going to want to fill the same role that his dad filled. I think that he will hire a GM. I think Stephen Jones doesn't want to do the GM and the owner. I think Stephen Jones is going to keep Will McClay, who is great, and actually give him the GM position that his dad never gave him. And I think that's what's actually keeping Will McClay here. Because Will McClay could have been a GM on any team by now. With how Will McClay has done up until like maybe the last two drafts, Will McClay has been a phenomenal scout for the Cowboys. I'm not saying we make the playoffs this year, Kid Cowboy. But I think that there's going to be a lot of competition for making the playoffs this year. I think what this year ends up doing for Cowboy fans, that if we pay attention and watch and actually critique it through watching game, like after game film to see where plays broke down, I think that what this season does is this season's going to give Cowboy fans hope moving forward into following seasons. I think we may just miss playoffs, but I think that we are going to have much more hope leading into the following seasons after this season. I think that's coming, Shroom. I actually, about 2-3 weeks ago, I made a video talking about that too. Okay, Cowboys a fraud. Carnage, you be calling everybody out. Not wrong. Still, it's going to be fun. My team's lineup against shores this season. Hey, football's fun in general, Messi. Win, loss, or draw, man. I enjoy watching football. So, why is there always so many holes? Will McCarthy is overrated. Because the Cowboys you can't fill holes only in the draft, which is what the Cowboys have tried to do. When the Cowboys don't make real free agency moves, you're never going to fill all the holes. They are filling the holes this year so that they can be more free moving in the draft to be able to pick best player available instead of forcing a need pick on a position. I think that's what the Cowboys are doing with this free agency. They're filling the holes so that when the draft comes, we don't have to force a need position out of a pick. We can just freely draft like we did with CeeDee Lamb kind of thing. I hear you, Messi. I mean, they do a lot of trickery, Messi. So, I mean, they're always fun to watch. They always do a lot of hook and ladder and just different trick plays. They do a lot of that. So, I mean, they're always exciting to watch their offense. It's hard to deny that. The Lions have a good offensive scheme that's fun to watch, which is why, part of the reason why, when I knew the Cowboys were out of the playoffs, I was rooting for the Lions. Yeah, but Will hasn't been allowed to do everything. And again, what have we done in free agency that has helped the Cowboys in the draft? We haven't. And Jerry Jones didn't give Will McClay the full position role. He never has. Those teams are on Jerry Jones. They rest solely on his shows. He wants to be the GM. He gets the blame as well as the glory. Not yet. Once Jerry retires, I think Stephen Jones makes him that, though, Carnage. But that'll be once Jerry's gone. And that's just because I don't think Stephen Jones is going to want to fill that shoe. I think that that's what's keeping Will McClay here, is that he knows once that time is done, Stevens is going to give him the GM position, because he could have been a GM on any other team. He easily could have been a GM for any other team. You don't think that offensive coordinator is going to try to emulate that's what your team has been built on, though, Messi? That's what the team. Without those, it's not going to be as fun to watch for someone that's not a fan of the team. Everybody under Jerry Jones on the staff is a yes man. Everybody. But that just means that the blame stops at Jerry Jones's feet. Man, I'd make Skip Bayless's channel disappear is what I would do. I can't stand that man. He needs to go be an Eagle fan like he suggested. Take his ass over there to Philly. We don't want him. I don't know what Toxic's talking about. Because I feel like Stephen Jones has been telling him. I feel like that's where that is. I feel like Stephen Jones is the one keeping Will McClay around. They pay him good money. They change his title every couple years. They give him a little bit better title. And then a promise. Hey, you're going to be our GM. Just hold on with us. I swear to God, that's what they're doing. No, I think his stock is higher with Stephen Jones than it is with Jerry Jones. I'm not saying he has high stock. I'm saying he may gain it. I've been saying in this conversation that Will McClay could only do what Jerry Jones lets him do. Essentially, only thing I've said is that when Stephen Jones is the one really fully running the team, that at that point, I feel like Will McClay will then become the GM, which is what's keeping him around. I don't think that he has a lot of stock right now. I think everything stops at Jerry Jones. Amon-Ross is good. I like Gibbs too, though. Gibbs is probably one of my favorite. But we only have a couple more minutes on here, guys, and then we're going to hop off. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they don't always pick who Will McClay suggests. They definitely don't always pick what he suggests. Yeah, I agree. These are the worst 2 years for the draft. They picked a D tackle that hasn't panned out to be a first round draft quality yet, and they picked a left tackle who should have been playing as a right tackle that hasn't lived up to first round quality yet. Now that left tackle, Tyler Guyton, has been in the gym all offseason. And the issue with him was his placement of his hands and being beat with a power rush. A lot of that can be helped out in the gym and working it out. So we'll have to see how that plays out. We don't know yet if they don't just go pick. No, they aren't. But Will McClay's not the only scout either. The Cowboys have many scouts. Chris Vaughn is another scout. Deuce Vaughn's father, that's what his job is to do as well. Will McClay, there's a team of scouts. It's not just one or two people. But at the end of the day, they have the last say. Hence why we almost had Johnny Manziel. Luckily, father and son weren't in agreement, and son won. I mean, the team itself has failed over the last few years. I mean, I'm not here to try to change who you point your finger at for the blame. I'm just saying that there's enough blame for you to point your finger at anybody on the team. The Cowboys have failed across the board the last couple of years. When it comes to finishing in the playoffs or in the draft or in free agency or just keeping players healthy or coaching, they failed across the board. So, I mean, you can point your finger at anybody you want. It goes to everybody to some extent. But yeah, we about to be hopping off here now. We've been on for 2 hours, so we ain't gonna keep it up much longer. Yeah, he definitely is, Shroom. You're right. Hopefully, y'all have a blessed night. Y'all stay great. Make everything great on purpose. I'm Ryals. We're about to dip out of here, guys. Y'all have a good night. Peace.